The city of Biddeford, Maine, is a charming coastal community known for its historic architecture and close-knit community atmosphere. Recently, Biddeford, Saco, Old Orchard Beach Transit secured a significant grant through the Strengthening Mobility and Revolutionizing Transportation, or SMART program. This initiative is part of a broader effort to modernize public transit systems across the country, with a focus on innovative and sustainable solutions. With this grant, Biddeford will transition to a fully electric bus fleet, a move that aligns perfectly with Maine's Climate Action Plan. This story continues our Critical Path to Success series, and we will now hear from an important stakeholder on this project to share his valuable lessons and insights for other communities looking to secure funding for sustainable transportation solutions.
My name is Chad Hyde. The organization that I'm the executive director of is Biddeford, Saco, Old Orchard Beach Transit. We are a small public transit provider here in southern Maine. We operate a fixed route network as well as a commuter services between Biddeford, Saco, and Portland, and then also a summer seasonal service based on the number of hospitality and visitors that we have during the summer months. When we saw this application and the NOFO come available, we really focused on the smart grid technology consideration. We currently have 2 battery electric buses and have received other federal grants for 2 additional. For a fleet that totals 13 fixed route vehicles, the plan is to be transitioning to a fully electrified fleet over the next 5 to 10 years, which aligns with some of our state climate action plans and other programs. The SMART grant project that we put forward was intended to assess the feasibility for renewable energy generation at our depot and develop a demonstration plan to leverage smart grid technology, on-site energy storage, and high-capacity bus charging to reduce emissions, enhance reliability, and mitigate the increased energy demands required by our transition to the battery electric fleet. Well, BSUD Transit operates within a historically disadvantaged community here in Biddeford. 2 of our most productive routes serve the areas that have experienced significant impacts related to air quality, including asthma. And then many of our riders, both within that historically disadvantaged community and the community at large, rely on our bus services to get to work, shopping, medical offices, as well as general recreational and other activities. Noting the reliance on our public transit service and the transition that we have to renewable energy sources and battery electric vehicles, we're intending to help alleviate some of the health impacts that are felt and created by operating a fossil fuel fleet. We did. Initially noting that it was an electrical project, we immediately sought input and feedback from our local utility, CMP. In addition to that, understanding that this was a project that was outside of the capacity of our existing staff, we knew that we were going to need consultants. And so when we were initially doing our independent cost estimates to understand what a project of this nature would cost, we began to engage potential firms that would be interested in the work. And they also pointed us to other agencies, other peers of ourselves as transit agencies elsewhere in the country that have begun to do components of the work and the transition to generate more renewable energy. We really were able to identify a number of questions and a number of topics that we thought it was critical to include in our application, and most importantly, got really refined values for what the overall expenses might be to complete a project of this nature. Absolutely. I note that our agency, being as small as it is, doesn't have an engineering department, doesn't have a very broad planning department. In understanding the intent of this application, strengthening mobility, or of this opportunity, strengthening mobility and revolutionizing transit, there was a need for us to really focus on the technical merit section. We worked a lot with local stakeholders and subject matter experts to ensure that our project was both compelling and expressed a viability for the investment, understanding that one real critical component of the SMART program is being able to demonstrate technical solutions that are scalable. And our position was that because we are such a small entity, our parcel is only 2.5 to 3 acres. If we were able to demonstrate through feasibility and assessment and preliminary engineering that we as a small agency were able to generate enough power, store enough power, that we can operate a resilient service network of fully zero emission vehicles, that would be something that would be scalable for agencies elsewhere in the country, both our size and larger. Based on the guidelines of the SMART program, the timeline for project completion is rather aggressive. It's 12 months for draft implementation plans from the initial award date, and then full completion within 18 months. And while our project is relatively small, working through the feasibility, assessment, engineering, and design steps within that 18-month window is proving to be quite a challenge. My recommendation would be to have a project scope that narrows the focus and allows for efficient production of deliverables, both by the stakeholders and whatever firms might be part of the project. Scope creep is certainly something that occurs in engineering and design projects. And so understanding that there's a limited window and there are multiple phases to this grant program, being able to complete the phase 1 grant within the window is critical to the opportunity to receiving phase 2 award money as well.